That's correct. Home Depot is also open with lots of generators for residents. Kroger is also open for business. And these are all signs that life is slowly returning to normal after so much devastation. With one powerful breath, Mother Nature turned the world upside down for Raleigh Vanda.
Can you imagine? A shark in your front yard. I mean, it was a shark. It was a 4-foot tip, black-tipped shark in my front yard.
What's unusual has become the norm, and the life that used to be is now the surreal, like this open grocery store. And the sight of this sign sent Raleigh Vanda on a Home Depot shopping spree.
Generator and 3 gas cans and 2 more ice chests and a fan and well, it's over $1,000-something, but I don't even care. I mean, because money is not, it's human life. And, you know,
as life becomes a little bit more normal, evacuated residents will soon be able to come home. Galveston city manager says Galvestonians will be able to return within the next 7 days. Those who live on the east end of the island will be first.
Where are we going?
The second group, residents who live west of the seawall to Jamaica Beach. All other residents who live further west will be the last to come back. Each resident who gets on the island will be handed a sheet of paper with information about what is available and what isn't, and that could include which service stations are open for business. The first drops of fuel are flowing at this Randall's gas station.
Oh, you know I'm happy.
everybody's been so kind. And I don't want to start crying, but everybody's been so kind. And then they came out search and rescue. And of course I cried like a baby.
Joy is mixed with grief because Vanda believes the death toll is greater than the official count of 7.
Down the street from us, they put an X on that door, and that's a very old man.
To help the living, the military is providing ER services. The sewer system is partially working and parts of the city have power. And Vanda just got running water.
Thank God. Thank God. That's all I know.
Thankful that the world will soon be right side up once again. Now, Galveston's mayor is asking owners of grocery stores, service stations, and pharmacies to get on the island as soon as possible so these services will be available when all the evacuated residents come home. And that will most likely be sometime next week. Well, with the exception of a few people, most of the residents in Daysett are resting easier tonight. That's because the sinkhole is not growing as quickly today as it was yesterday. Now, the geologists who've been here all day have noticed a few cracks on the ground near the sinkhole. They think that's a sign that the hole is still getting bigger. Daysett, population 1,034. It's an almost forgotten oil town until now. There's been a population boom overnight.
Yeah, that's why we're out here. This doesn't happen very often.
All eyes are on this, a sinkhole the size of 6 to 7 football fields.
Right now, I'm a nervous wreck because I feel like it could open and just sink the whole Daysett town up.
Nellie Ross says she's packing and moving because this hole has been growing since it appeared Wednesday morning. Corporal Hugh Bishop remembers where he was 30 hours ago.
We were up against this tank right here, and that's since gone in, so it's come out about another 20 or 30 yards.
The hole's growth spurt is slowing down. Many of the residents in Daysett see that as a good sign.
We're feeling okay. We think it's going to stop.
But just in case, emergency crews are pumping oil and brine out of the tanks nearby. Before this hole appeared, the land was flat. A part of it was used to store the waste product from oil wells. That product, mainly salt water, would be injected into the ground. As for the rest of what used to be here,
it's an old oil field that had a number of oil wells in it at one time.
We're told most, if not all, of the wells are now drying, but the hole may soon be filled with water and sludge.
I would love some lakefront property at Canyon Lake or at Toledo Bend, but in downtown Daysett, lakefront property is not too appealing.
Most of the residents here can do nothing but laugh and wait to see what happens next. Here's a live look at the road that runs past the big sinkhole. It's FM 770, and we're about half a mile away from the sinkhole. They've closed this road. This is about as far as you can go. It runs right through town, so it's an inconvenience for the residents here. But beyond that, the sinkhole at this point is not a threat to the folks who live here in Daysett. Well, the atmosphere out here is very different from what people are experiencing in South Texas. Instead of bracing for the storm, the folks out here in Surfside are actually embracing it. If you've ever wondered how Surfside Beach got its name, just head to this village in Brazoria County, and one look says it all.
It's perfect conditions for surfing.
While most Gulf Coast residents may dread even the thought of a tropical storm, these guys live for it.
That guy over there called me about 2 o'clock, said the waves pretty big, tropical storms rolling in, so we headed on down here and been surfing for a couple hours.
Intense. That's the one word I got for it is you're out there, it's like a washing machine.
Yesterday, I was out with my brother and the family. It was totally clean, no waves. Today, I caught a wave a while ago and it felt like I was falling off a cliff.
You don't have to be a thrill seeker to feel the party-like atmosphere by the water.
You don't have to worry about sunburn.
But police officers say there are plenty of things you should be worried about out on the water. The storm in the Gulf has given strength to dangerous rip currents. Police strongly advise people to stay out of the water. Tides in low-lying areas along the coast are expected to increase by 4 to 6 feet. That, combined with rain, will most likely cause some street flooding. If you live in flood-prone areas, stay home within the next 12 to 24 hours if you can, and use common sense. Surfside police just handed me a list of street names that will probably flood. They include Beach Drive, Surfside Shores, and Bay Avenue. And if you live on one of these streets, think about moving your car to higher ground. And one place you can take your car for the night is Surfside Jetty Park, where we are, and it will be open for you throughout the duration of the storm. And if you wake up in the morning and lose electricity, don't be surprised. Reporting live from Surfside, Elizabeth Lee, CW 39 News. Well, it's definitely quite windy, as you can tell, and when you have a gust, I can barely stand up, and so a hurricane is definitely coming. And it all started just at daybreak today when the surge started coming up over the 17-foot seawall, and now there's just a lot of debris on the road, and during a surge the water would come up over the seawall and almost across the road. In addition to that, there was a troubling statistic that the mayor told us earlier today. About 40% of the residents on Galveston Island decided to stay, even though there was a mandatory evacuation. And so the mayor has put in place a shelter of last resort, and this is what she has to say to those who decide to go.
No, there are no volunteers. There is food, water, of course, restrooms. They're asked to bring, if they can, a pillow and a blanket. There are no cots. It's minimal, but it's a shelter from the storm.
Because we are expecting most of Galveston Island, if not all, to be underwater. The mayor says if you don't believe that your house is safe, the shelter of last resort is the place you can go. It's at Ball High School. But again, make sure you are prepared. So far, the last we heard, there were about 150 people there. And if you need help, if you need someone to get you there, or if you are trapped, there is a number to call, 409-765-3710. And the thing to do is to call now as soon as possible, because at 9 o'clock, all the emergency personnel will be locked up in a bunker for their personal safety, because it's just too dangerous. The winds are too high, and it's going to start raining a lot more than it is now.